Whew. Hi, Mark Shepard here with another transformational reflection, a morning musing, a reflective response to the world as I see it. And today it's the 5th of July. And the only reason that matters is that it is now, going on 2.5 weeks that we have had hot, hazy, humid weather here in upstate New York. And this is my least favorite kind of weather. I've said that in other videos. This is such a challenge to me because I'm sticky, I'm sweaty, and I do have an air conditioner now, I could turn it on. But I don't want to miss the lesson. And the point of today's reflection is that everything has a lesson. Everything. Every single opportunity in our life that makes us uncomfortable, that makes us irritable, that affects us in some way, that we are responding to in some emotional way, that event, that experience has the seeds for release, has the seeds for learning. I'm reading a book right now by John Welshons called One Soul, One Love, One Heart. And John came and spoke at our Unity Church a couple of weeks ago. And he comes regularly. He is a deep and compassionate spiritual thinker and teacher. And one of the things he says in here that I love is a couple of paragraphs called Seeing the Guru Everywhere. And I want to just read it to you because I've been saying it, but sometimes in someone else's words. Re-perceiving our family, friends, partners, employers, co-workers, and strangers on the street as potential teachers or gurus opens the possibility for an exciting new perspective on life. Rather than seeing the flaws in others, the ways in which we think God or the universe has created them incorrectly, I love that, ways in which we think God or the universe has created these other people or experiences incorrectly. I love that. We begin to see them as perfect teachers. By making us aware of the way our minds trick us into being dissatisfied, the difficult people in our lives actually give us a tremendous gift. I'm not suggesting that we tolerate abusiveness or cruelty. It is possible that people who are abusive and cruel are placed in our lives to test our strength, to instill in us a deepened awareness of our spiritual resources. Perhaps they have come to inspire us to be fearless, impeccable warriors, as the Castaneda books talk about, and to help us to learn to respect ourselves, to take care of ourselves by saying no without feeling guilty. Sometimes the only healthy solution is to a difficult relationship is to end it. The challenge is to end it with love. And I think that's an amazingly powerful point, that every person, everything in our lives can be what we choose it to be. Again, we are brought back to the point that we attach to the meaning, whatever it means. We're the ones deciding what it means. And for me, physically, we have two different levels of challenge in our life. We have things that we can solve physically with our inventive minds. So, for example, we're hot, we're sticky, we invent the air conditioner, right? That creates other problems. Like we take the heat from this room and we shove it outside into the atmosphere, and the entire atmosphere eventually begins to warm up. So we need more air conditioning, so we shove more hot air out there. So it's almost like a self-perpetuating problem. But originally, our inventive mind is one of our greatest assets. I mean, it is what caused us to think ahead to the winter and think, okay, I don't want to starve or freeze this winter, so let's build a shelter. Let's put food aside. Let's dry food. Let's salt food. Let's create food that we can have through the winter. Let's create warm clothing. Those solve certain problems. That's problem solving or challenge meeting, rising to the challenge. And that's something our mind does very well. We're very good at that. But then there's a whole other level of emotional challenges that we try to apply that fix-it mind mentality to, and it doesn't work the same way. So what I'm doing by speaking to you literally covered in sweat here It's 10 o'clock in the morning and it's already 80 degrees inside. It's humid. It's just oppressively hot. However, I can forget about that. I can literally change my focus and I can find ways to enjoy the sweatiness, because the sweat is actually kind of cooling. And I can be present here in my body. I can accept what is, and I can practice playing with my mind when I go, oh God, I hate this weather. I go, okay, there's my edge. I'm uncomfortable. How can I relax into this discomfort? Because in our minds, when we're in emotional weather, for example, when we're under a lot of stress and it just seems unrelenting day after day after day, just like this heat and humidity, it just seems like it's never going to end. But it will. I mean, September's coming, October's coming, December's on its way. It's July. So the reality is that everything changes. Even things we think are just going to grind us down and just be oppressive. And, if we change our relationship to that event and say, okay, what can I learn from this? How is this hot weather my teacher? How is this other person my teacher? How is this the perfect thing that's happened right now so that I can grow to the next level of awareness, so that I can experience what I've come here to experience in a way that's positive, in a way that's healing, in a way that's transformational? That's a power. That's power that we have at any given moment. And we can transform any experience, no matter how unpleasant, how uncomfortable, how even tragic, with our thoughts. We can transform it. Later on in the book, John Welshons talks about the events in our lives that sometimes drive us deep into a spiritual awakening. And, he talks about how sometimes great loss, great tragedy, carries with it the seeds that force us to wake up, the seeds that force us to respond in a different way to the world. And again, not condoning, not kind of taking this shallow New Age mindset of, oh, you're so lucky, a horrible thing's happened in your life. Now you get to grow spiritually. No, that's not that attitude at all. It's a deeply respectful attitude of taking whatever is given us, and using it to shape the clay. It's like the hands on the clay, are shaping the clay on the potter's wheel and smoothing the rough edges and pulling it and pushing it into a form that's elegant, that's beautiful. Without that pushing, without that pulling, without that spinning, it's just a lump of clay. So I want you to just reflect on that today. Just look at anything in your life that is challenging. Just give it a shot. Give it a shot. And for me, one of my edges is driving in traffic. I live in a metropolitan area where there's a lot of dumb drivers, and that's my judgment, right? The other day, I was making a left turn, and the guy in front of me was making a left turn, and he goes in, and then he stops short, and he stops short. And so, I'm starting my left turn, and I've made my left turn. Now there are cars coming, right? And I'm honking my horn at him because he needed to move. He left me hanging out in the street. He goes in and he stops. And I'm honking my horn, and I roll down the window. I'm shouting at him, you've got to move, right? Now, he was letting a passenger out. He was letting a handicapped passenger out. Now, to all observers, I might have looked angry. I wasn't. I was just emphatic. I'm going to be handicapped in another second if you don't move ahead, because this truck is barreling down on me, and I'm here in traffic. But I was not rattled. I was not upset. I wasn't angry at him. I was just emphatic. Dude, you've got to move in, because otherwise I'm going to die, And if I die, okay, whatever. But, cars coming, and, so the way the story is supposed to go is I'm supposed to deeply reflect on the fact that, I got all angry he was letting a handicapped woman out of the car, so therefore it's okay. No, it's not okay. He did a dangerous thing, right? Having compassion and seeing each other as teachers doesn't mean we tolerate stupid, abusive, or dangerous behavior. And I rolled down my window when I finally was able to get by him and said, listen, you left me out in the street. Your action affected me and it was dangerous. Now, I don't know if he was upset or whatever, but I wasn't angry. I was just literally, okay, if he's my teacher, I'm his teacher too, right? So without attachment, without rage, without anger, I was able to be confrontive. This is something that in the past I never would have been able to do. I would have just seethed inside. I would have just felt bad. I would have all these different things. And so the reality is, no matter what level of spiritual awakening you're at, no matter what level of personal development, in the next second, you will get your next lesson. You know, it is offered to us all over the world. And I bless that man. I bless the woman he was letting out. I bless the car that was coming towards me, because luckily they stopped, you know, and they didn't hit me. So I blessed everyone around. And at the same time, I blessed myself, and that I spoke up. I spoke my truth. So this is a dance we're doing. And again, as John Welshman says, everyone is your guru, but it doesn't mean you allow someone to abuse you physically or emotionally. That may be your opportunity to go, stop. Stop right there. This behavior is not acceptable. This behavior is wrong. And I love myself so much that I'm not going to hang around with you. You know, that may be the lesson. Or the lesson may be, you know what? I need to work on my tolerance. I need to work on the fact that if someone turns left in front of me, they may stop, and I may need to wait before I turn left and make sure that I have room to get in. You know, it may be the lesson for that person coming down the street towards me, that they're looking ahead and saying, oh, this guy, he's stuck out in traffic. I can, you know. So whatever it is, it may be learning to love hot weather or cold weather. I mean, I love cold weather, but there are people who are like, respond to cold weather the way I'm responding to hot weather. Whatever it is, today you will have a lesson. Today you will have the opportunity to practice seeing everyone and everything in your life as your opportunity to grow, your opportunity to learn, your opportunity maybe even to teach without attachment, to give some insight that you may have to someone else who might need it. So that's my thought for today. It's a very warm day in July, and I hope someplace you're either cool or able to appreciate being warm. Thank you so much. Mark Shepard. I'll talk to you soon.